Good morning. Still morning most places right now, unless you're in Egypt or something. If you're watching the replay, fast forward a couple of minutes before I really start talking about my BS. Um, and that's before notifications come out. So I figured I would go live. It's Saturday morning, Saturday the 14th, and we just got out of the gym for the first time since April 28th, I think. 28th or 23rd. I don't know. I have this unique system where I text myself because I got the two phones, the business phone, whatever. And so what I'll do is at every machine, I'll start a text of which machines I did and um, how many reps at what weight. And I had to dig pretty far to find out the last time I worked out. I was keeping a notebook. Let's see if I can find that notebook. I do have a notebook. It's very similar to what I used in trucking. There it is. There's some notifications. Let me turn that down. Um, it's a calendar. It's an organizer, calendar, planner thing, and each day I'll write down what I did, and then I'll add it to the Planet Fitness app later. Um, what's interesting about Planet Fitness is you can look at the vehicles in the parking lot. You can probably figure out which one belongs to who, right? So here, I'll show you. Like that Ford F-150, not parked correctly, with the raised dealy bob. I think I know which person that was in there. Hey, look, I'm not knocking it, but that's a lot of money to be spent on, hey man, look at me. Because I imagine that's not very practical. I mean, yeah, you might get over some fields with that four-wheel drive or whatever, but for the most part, a vehicle like that, you don't want to trash. You don't want to take it through the woods. So it's a lot of money wasted. So, and that's it. I'm not judging the guy. I don't judge. Look, if pride is the one thing that gets you in the gym and makes you work out, then that's better than nothing. Although pride can be hateful, you know, or hurtful, not hateful. It can be hateful, but you hear that? Pride can be hateful. So currently eating burgers, plain, no bread or toppings. There you go, cheap freight hauler. That's how you start. Need to get back on the diet, having rest issues. That is, look, man, here's the deal, Sterling. I feel you. I have not been to the gym since April 23rd. We're going to call it the 23rd. I'm pretty sure it might be the 23rd, 28th. Doesn't matter. It's still been June, July, August. It's been 3 months. And remember that, Sterling? Remember that dude from My Name is Earl? I gave you a picture of him. He does a podcast, and he talked about motivation. And he talked about you can't fully rely on motivation. There are days, like example, our jobs, right? There are days when you don't want to go to work, but you have to. What makes you disciplined? Well, paying the bills, right? And wish I had a better phone mount because the sun keeps messing with the brightness. And I was pretty motivated, and then I was disciplined, but then work got crazy. And I don't like working out after work, but apparently I need to like punch myself in the face and get over that and be uncomfortable like our Church of Wheel sermon, and just start working out in the afternoon, because the way the brokers are doing business now, it's like if you don't have your trucks booked by 3, it's a wrap. No one's answering emails, no one's answering phone calls, no one's pulling loads off the board once they're booked. And you're better off booking between 6 and 3 now versus before it was like 7 or 8 to 5. And so it made it harder for me to come in the mornings to work out, which is the best time because there's hardly anybody here. One of my friends that in a local band, he's usually here. He and I chat. We don't work out together. He's on the free weights. I'm more on the machines and the treadmill. I didn't do the treadmill today. So trust me, today was hard, right? I had some BS trying to find everything I needed to get out of the house, but then I go to put on my earbuds, which is half the motivation. And you know what? Low battery. I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. But here's what I use. Let's see if I can find it here. I use these, what brand? JBLs. They're pretty cool. They, Ethan Suplee, or Suplee, however you say it. He did a really good thing about motivation, and it was a little snippet on Instagram. I follow him on Instagram, but I need to plug this in. Anyways, I put these in my ear, and he goes, low battery. I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? I was ready to bust some workouts with some death metal, and instead I had to listen to the crappy piped music in the gym. Oh man, if there's anything to blame on Western culture going south, it's 2 things. It's the food and it's the popular music. No bueno. Makes me want to like punch myself. That kind of music, I despise it. So I use Shoals bone conducting, won't fall out as I sweat. The only problem with that pigtail is I've sampled those, and you could still hear things around you. And so playing my death metal with crappy pop music in the background, nah, that'll make me homicidal too. So, but they are cool. I do have a problem with the right one staying in the ear, but every now and then I get just perfect, but then I move around, it's like, doop. So, let's get to the comments here. Sterling Wheel says, on. Cheap Freight Hauler, good morning. Dezoki Pam, good morning. I need to get back on the diet, having rest issues. Currently eating burgers, plain, no bread or toppings. That's the way to start, man. That is the way to start. Look, a friend of mine texted me. He wants me to do a video of buying the cheaper stuff for people on a carnivore on a budget. And I will do that. But I have to be careful, because if I go into Walmart, they've got that piping music, and it could probably put a copyright strike. So what I need to do is make the video, but then do a narration over it, which I believe is fairly easy. It just might take a couple of shots to do it. But truck stop wise, there's this, look, Dr. Barry will tell you that there's nothing wrong with eating like hot dogs and lunch meat and things of that nature. When I started keto, that was kind of the route I went. Well, no, not really. Actually, it was. I did that, and then I switched over to more of a paleo approach, and then I went clean keto. But the baker will tell you the same thing, but Dr. Berg will be like, you kind of want to avoid that. And so is a hot dog or the roller grill stuff better than the other stuff the truck stop serves or travel centers serve? Yes. It's better than having a sandwich. It's better than having a sandwich and chips. Just get 4 roller dogs, 2 sausages, and you're good to go, right? That'll fill you up. It'll make you feel good. If you are a food addict, there's 2 approaches to it. You can either do a cold turkey approach and not touch anything that has corn syrup solids or modified food starch and MSG and all that stuff, which is what a lot of hot dogs have. Or you can use that to substitute the other bad food that you're eating, and you'll actually feel a little bit better than eating the other stuff. And you will lose weight because you're cutting your carbs down. If you're on a budget, hamburger is your best friend. We'll go over some cuts of meat that are actually fairly cheap and good for you. But for the most part, you just have to find what works best for you. I will do the hot dogs and roller grill stuff in a pinch, but my body definitely feels it. And I haven't had to be in a pinch in a minute. So now the wife and I are going to one of our work banquet dinner thing, award dinner things, and that's going to be interesting. We'll do our best. So, but Sterling, if there's anything I can do to help motivation and discipline, let me know. I don't know how much help I'll be, but you always have my number. You always have it. So, LOL says nice beard. Some of the oddballs are coming in here. That dude is unrecognizable now, right? And he's older than us. He's older than us, and he can do it. We already said I can hear other. Yes, I can hear other things. On my way to Portland over here. Our Walmart has quiet time 8 to 10. Oh, okay. The lake this weekend, relaxing. I need to So I reconnected with an old friend of mine in at the Homestead Expo, and he was telling me about hunting on my own land, and I thought, well, that'd be cool, but I've never hunted alone, so that's going to be scary. It's going to be uncomfortable, right? But I don't know if I'm going to do that this year or not. I would like to, but I don't have any of the equipment as far as deer stand or a little shack to put out there or nothing. But and hunting season is less than, well, it's a month and a half away, I guess. I haven't looked to see when rifle season is. Roller dog or Cinnabon, which is going to kill you first, right? Cinnabon is death. Look, freedom is when you smell Cinnabon as you walk into a truck stop and it smells rancid to you. It smells like poison. It smells like death. Like you might as well put a dead frog in front of me and I'll have the same reaction. That's freedom, my friends. That's freedom. The expo was excellent. Ha! See what I did there? I learned a lot. I learned how to butcher a pig. I learned how to harvest chickens. I learned about the nutritional values of homegrown food versus farm-raised food. That's both meat and vegetable. I've learned that the farm honors the homestead honors the life of the animals, especially right before they're harvested. Whereas commercial farming is like the death camps of Auschwitz, which is why the vegans, get angry, which, understandably, because their lives aren't honored, but their lives are honored and their purpose is fulfilled when they're on a homestead. A chicken can be a chicken, roam free, eat the bugs, lay eggs, and then quietly goes to sleep with the help of a little knife. And then you have food on your table the next day. Bow season started in today in Georgia. That's cool. Yeah, I don't I have like I don't have I've been thinking about getting a crossbow because they're actually not that expensive, but man, I you got to be closer to the deer, and I have never ever practiced with a bow. Like I'll take it back. My wife's got this compound bow, and it's a trainer bow. I mean, you're not getting any deer with that thing, and I couldn't. It was hard to practice because we had to be careful because we didn't want the arrows flying out of the yard, and one of them did actually. We've never have found that arrow, so. Of course, you use the dull tips for practice, but you know, but Buck Brown's watching from his homestead. Cool. Hey guys, when you went to Matt's, remember these Uber Freight water bottles? But I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'm hoping he invites me to um, hunt with him. That'll be cool. Cause like you got to worry about transporting the deer once you get it. If you're a couple of miles from your vehicle, I don't have a four-wheeler, so that won't be fun dragging a 150-pound deer a couple of miles. Talk about a workout. Who needs Planet Fitness when you can just do that? So, but yeah, Planet Fitness, their piped music sucks. Like, I'm pretty sure that if they were playing like Slayer and Metallica and all that kind of stuff, everybody would be complaining about that. But, whatever. I used that same reasoning for hunting when I met my future stepdaughter. She was 15 and lightly opinionated at the time. Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing. If you let's get biblical. Let's get biblical for a second. The animals were put here to feed. And everything works in unison. Our CO2 makes, feeds the trees feed us oxygen. And we are the masters over the animals. And some masters are really nice to their animals, and some masters are not. Getting a chicken from a homestead is way different than getting chicken from, I don't know, Tyson or Purdue. Both in taste, and here's the thing. So, like when you harvest a chicken, you don't want, we all have the stories of, oh, you cut the head off and it ran around, And the problem with that is it puts the bird into shock, which taints the meat. So your meat's not going to taste as good. Whereas if you off them in the right place, they just go to sleep. So they don't suffer. They don't struggle. And that honors, cutting the head off a chicken and let it run around, with its head cut off, that's not honoring the animal. That's not respectful to the animal. And most hunters in the conservation, are respectful to the animal. So I mean, I know people that won't shoot just anything. They'll only go out there and they'll only shoot like the 12 point, buck or whatever. So my neighbor and his brother rent land every year near you in Missouri to hunt on. That's good business. So like I said, I've got 5 acres, and I got to check the local ordinances to make sure that I'm able to hunt on there. According to my friend, I can, but you got to do some research so you're not caught with your pants down. and then basically I got to have some proof that it's my land that I'm hunting on, and I got to be careful of my backstop. I don't want to get too crazy. Like Illinois, you can't hunt with a rifle because everything's flat, so you don't want to go into someone else's farm with with a missed target. So I think archery's open already. I'm thinking about a crossbow. Crossbow would be easier, I think, because you just use it kind of like a pistol, but like this pawn shop literally across the street, they had a crossbow. I don't know how good it is, but it was like $200. Like, hey, $200, get some decent arrow tips, and I think the best way is to be in a tree. Like, I have not surveyed my land at all. I mean, that's part of the problem. Like, where would I put a tree stand? Where do the deer come in? I guess I can get one of them trail cameras, money, 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 right? But at any rate, it's in the infancy stage, so I don't know if I'll go hunting this year or not. I would like to, because the 2 deer that I got a couple years ago are, I think I'm using, well, no, there's a little bit of jerky left, and that's it. I don't have anything else left. We finished it up about 6 months ago, so I've got 2.5 acres in a neighborhood that I hunt, but I only bow hunt because I don't want to disturb the neighbors with the rifle. In the area that our land is, there are you can hear gunshots, you can hear people target shooting. At least we hope it's target shooting. And I don't know if that will be a problem. I don't think it will. Like, I do go out there and shoot on my in-laws' land, which is right next to it. And sometimes the city will show up. And then we have to remind them where the city line is. So it's right on the border there. So I definitely don't want to hunt on public land, though. That sounds like it sounds like combat veteran PTSD kind of stuff going on there. Yeah, one of the vehicles leaving here, I was right about who owned that car. You can tell somebody's personality types by their car sometimes. Sometimes, not all the time. Not all the time. No. And technically, I can probably get away with 10 acres because we bought 5 acres next to my wife's brother. He has 5 acres. So technically, I probably have 10 that I can hunt on. Speaking of neighbors and hunting, both neighbors on either side of me are so respectful of my PTSD, they'll text me ahead of time when they'll be sighting their scopes. Oh, that's good. That's something I haven't done in a while. And what sucks is I lost that connection due to my big mouth, but the place where I zeroed out my rifle, he wanted me to bring my German Mauser that I got from my dad, and then he got from his dad, to bring that out. And he was actually offered sniper school, so he was a wicked shot. He never went into sniper school though, because if the military trains you for that, you're probably not. You're probably going to be doing some missions, right? So, but he was looking forward to that. So, I don't know. That's why you gotta tend to your friendships, right? But that's what I get for defending myself when I'm being insulted as well. So there's that. How dare YouTube censor your channel? I demand to know where my notification is. Just got off the bow stand, opening day here in Minnesota. Nice. Did you get anything, Paul? I don't do well with height, so the tree stand would have to be like a good height. I think I would want one of those tripod platforms that sit above the ground. So you can be like, you're basically in a shack. I think that would be better. I don't know. I like the tree stand I was in, a couple years ago. But man, when I first went up it, man, I was nervous as hell, and it was pitch black, so that helped. I couldn't see down, and I really had to do my little mantra I do to calm myself down when my anxiety gets up there, because I do have high anxiety, like pretty bad. Like if I feel I'm too high up and I look up, man, I will get dizzy and I will fall down. Scene two, no shot. Yeah, you got to have those shot just right. You got to be how okay, Paul, educate me please. How close do you have to be, and what kind of bow are you using? Oh, it started raining. Well, that sucks. But that's my question. Like, I have not done any YouTubing about bow hunting. I have not done one iota bit of research. Mainly because I don't want to go down that rabbit hole and start spending a bunch of money I don't have on stuff that I may or may not use. So, I do have an old school bow. Probably can't hunt with that though. At least not be accurate. Might be a way to take a raccoon out or something. 10-point crossbow, it can easily go 40 yards. Okay. And that's a crossbow. That would be the route I would go. I don't think I could do the compound bow. Now, what goes further, a crossbow or a compound bow? And I imagine it probably depends on the compound bow. And who's the YouTuber to watch for bow hunting? If there is one. I don't want like we have some trucking YouTubers that you probably don't want to listen to about trucking. So I want to avoid those versions of the hunting guys. I'm going to take a screenshot of that. I like the 20-yard shots because of brush. Now, just like firearms, I took basics class. My wife and I took basics class, because like 5 years ago, I couldn't tell you the difference between a 22 and a 45. Whatever. Now, well, I don't own a 45, but I do own many other calibers. So, fun fact, the famous actress Gina Davis is a competition bow shooter. I think I knew that. I think I knew that. I wonder if she still is. My buddy uses 120-pound pole and says 50 yards is his max distance, but 30 yards is best. Okay. I did learn that you're allowed to have a pistol with you when bow hunting if you got your CCW in Missouri. There's that. I learned that. Where did I learn that? Oh, I learned it at the expo. But you cannot open carry while bow hunting. And you definitely can't have a rifle with you if you're bow hunting. So you have to, it has to be concealed and you're good to go. Which I would want to have something on me at all times in the woods. Crossbow can shoot way faster than compound. Mine shoots close to 400 feet per second. Nice. What about bears? Bears don't need pistols to hunt. I think they're fine. I think they're fine just the way they are. I carry when hunting for this reason. Yeah, it's. I mean, you never know when you're going to get into dispute with someone on the, like let's say your public land, and somebody says that's my deer, and you go, no, it ain't my deer, and then things get kind of tough, you know. Trapped in a deer stand, yeah, you definitely want something. Also, bear spray. Um, I think I think where you really have to worry about that is grizzly and brown bears. I think black bears, they pretty much are like, ew, human, and they run away. But you never know. You never know when one might be aggressive if the cubs are around or whatever. So, um, I I I carried my piece in the. Well, no, I didn't. I didn't carry when I went hunting because I felt like I had like 50 pounds of stuff on me already. But we were out. We were pretty remote too. Depends on how remote. Well, I mean that doesn't matter with bears, I guess. But also bobcats in Missouri climb trees. Yes, Josh Vegan, what's up? Yeah, that's the thing. So what I've learned is predatory animals in Missouri are on an incline, like coyotes, raccoons, bobcats, because we're losing forestry, but also because there's regulations on. There's no fur trade. There's no fur trade anymore. Um, and a lot of that is social construct, and so this is why we have an overabundance of coyotes and raccoons and beavers and things of that nature that tend to destroy good land and good places. So, but how's it going, Josh? We're talking about hunting, but so I don't know, man. Crossbow might be cool. I just have to basically just kind of do my research, and if I want to go into that world, I can. I've got a couple of mentors I can probably talk to. So don't eat pets. No, I agree with you. Don't eat pets. Um, let's talk about that for a minute. So Trump said that, right? And from what I've heard, ABC was like, "Oh, the Springfield city manager said that that's not really happening." Well, the Aurora city manager also said that the gang activity in the apartments also was happening, but there's footage of that. Now, people got on Facebook, and of course, I shared there's a police incident video where it was in Canton, Ohio, and this woman had been caught. She got arrested for killing a cat, and she was eating it. And I replied with that, just, oh, things are crazy. Here we go. The pet thing might actually be true. And I put that video out, and people are like, well, she's not from Haiti, is she? Canton is a far away from Springfield, Ohio. Okay. So now it's a joke, it's a meme, on the internet about, and look, let me tell you a story. So I was living in downtown Springfield, and my roommate and I, we came across like three little kittens. And so we let them stay inside one of the rooms that we were sleeping in, and they were they were it was fun. Having three kittens in the room was pretty cool. And but they were technically strays, right? And then one day the kittens were gone. We didn't know where they went. They weren't hanging out on the front porch anymore. Now, mind you, this was like 30 years ago. And someone, so our neighbor that was kind of taking care of the cats, I said, "Where's the kittens at?" And he's like, "Well, I found two of them dead on the porch and one skinned and hung up in front of my door. Like he had pissed somebody off." I'm like, wow, that's horrible. And so tragedies have been happening to pets for a long time. But here's the play on this. Check this out. Here's the play on this. By distracting the public with something that may or may not be true about the pets, we're not addressing the real issue anymore. It's kind of like if you hit somebody in a parking lot and so someone comes up and goes, "Hey man, you just hit me in the parking lot." I'm like, and you go, "I can't believe you're driving a red car." And the person goes, "What?" I said, your red car. That's a problem. I can't believe you're driving a red car." And pretty soon you're arguing about the color of the car versus the actual action of you hitting the car, right? That's exactly what happened. They're distracting you from the real problem, which is the immigration issue. Whether the pet story is true or not doesn't matter. So people argue about anything. Just ask any truck driver. People will argue about anything, and then the argument becomes the focus, and then pretty soon you forget what started the argument in the first place. I trapped last year just for Fisher and got 2 Fisher on the last day of a 9-day season. Here's an awesome channel. I follow mostly bow content, but the young lady is super knowledgeable, not to mention accurate. Freedom and Feathers. Okay, let me screenshot that. No, Sterling, don't get caught eating pets. Two-door, a little life advice. Sure, put it out there. What about we take care of unhoused, then we won't have these issues? I completely agree with the Lord Snores. Right. But hey, it doesn't matter. It's selection, not election. That's what it is. It's selection, not election. So just keep that in mind, people. Keep that in mind. You know. But first workout in several months, 3 months, is in the books. And there wasn't anybody weird in the bathroom or anything, so that was cool. That's another headline that's out there. Personally, if you know, I'd be watchful if I had any kids in the bathroom, but beyond that, I'm just like, that's tougher to get away with anything. The selection I am for is natural selection. But how long have we been live here? 39 minutes. If you guys didn't get a chance, go back and watch the Church of Wheel that I did on Thursday. Was it Thursday? Yeah, Thursday. And I will be doing a video soon about cheap ways to do the carnivore diet. And in fact, I'm going to go to one of my favorite places to get meat. It's a store called Food for Less. I might start right then and there. So, you ain't seen nothing yet? Yeah. Politics is like... Oh, wait. Let's go back here. The next 40 days is going to get weird, yes. Politics is like this. One side will condemn the homeless, not doing anything for them, whereas the other side will say they provide all these programs and end up with not doing anything. The result is the same. Sterling says, you ain't seen nothing yet. There's a great documentary about Portland. I highly suggest it. Trying to remember the title, but and they talk about a place in Rhode Island where they bought an old prison and they were able to get people off the streets and off of the fentanyl and to get them the mental help they need successfully, costing less than what the taxpayers in Portland are spending. So Seattle, maybe it's Seattle, right? Seattle. So Food for Less, didn't know you still had one of those. That was my dad's favorite grocery store. Wish they still had one around here. Thought they went completely out of business. Lucky you. They've got one here and one in Joplin. One in Joplin I've actually delivered to a couple of times. And both of them have truck access. So the one here in Springfield is kind of a bit of a pain in the butt to get to because you got to go through a lot of stop and go traffic. So if you're just passing through, you're just better off at one of the Walmarts off of I-44. But I was delivering Big Lots a lot, and so I would park in Big Lots. You know, while they unload me, I would go and get my groceries at Food for Less. And then Joplin has a section where you can kind of pull in with the truck and make your deliveries. So yeah, it is an industry. That's why it's never going to be solved. So at least not the way we think it should be solved. But what are you going to do? Selection, not election. Look, I'll say this before, I'll say it again. The minute that people figure out that we've lost the republic, the faster we can get to solving the problems. Drum pedal. I love it. I need to maybe jam on it soon. Save a lot. That's a different kind of place. Food for Less is like, they use the same brands as Kroger does, the Best Choice. So, and they're a union. So they're unionized here, but it's nice because they used to be open 24 hours. And their food prices ain't bad. So, at least on their meat especially. Anyways, guys and gals, thanks for watching. I appreciate the talk about bow hunting and whatever bull crap I talked about. So with that being said, strength for today, hope for tomorrow, peace.